In his essay Apocalypse Now, Baudrillard discusses how Francis Ford Coppola's film Apocalypse Now is not just about the Vietnam War but becomes a part of it. He argues that the film and the war are inseparable, both driven by the same excess, spectacle, and machinery. Coppola made his film with the same grand scale and obsession with power as the Americans fought the war. The film does not represent the war, instead, it continues it by turning it into a cinematic event filled with special effects and emotional manipulation. In this way, the war becomes a film and the film becomes war. They are both simulations of each other. The war in Vietnam may not have even really happened in the traditional sense. It was more like a dream, colorful, surreal, and without real purpose. America did not fight the war to win in a political or military sense, but to use the land as a testing ground for weapons and power. Coppola does not aim to tell the truth about war, but uses war as a setting to test the power of cinema. Both are about pushing boundaries and producing spectacle, not about truth or meaning. The violence and madness of war become raw materials for a cinematic masterpiece. In fact, Baudrillard claims that the Americans may have lost the actual war, but they won the cinematic version. The movie becomes a bigger victory than any real battlefield success. He criticizes the film for having no distance or reflection on the war. It does not try to raise awareness or offer a moral message. Instead, it throws the viewer into the experience, into the chaos and absurdity of the war, without asking them to judge or think critically. The scenes are shocking and powerful, but they are also part of a machine that creates feelings without meaning. For example, the famous scene of helicopters attacking a village to the sound of Wagner's music is not a thoughtful comment on war, it is simply part of the grand show, stylized violence presented as entertainment. Baudrillard sees this as part of a larger trend where war, politics, and even catastrophe are no longer real events but media performances. Wars today are fought not just with weapons but with cameras and screens. They are consumed audiences more than by soldiers. Apocalypse Now is the perfect example of this transformation. It turns war into a movie and the movie into a war, and doing so erases the line between reality and simulation. The film becomes a total spectacle that reflects our culture's obsession with images and detachment from the real. It is not a story about war, but a warning about how media can swallow reality until nothing is left but the illusion of truth.